One of the frequently asked questions about rent to owns is how do I become an owner in a rent to own situation? When you're renting to own, it's comprised of two different parts, a bigger part and a little small part. Bigger part is you starting to rent, and you're renting potentially for anywhere from 6 months to 2 years in Texas. And while you're renting, you're putting your financials together to apply for a mortgage. Once you're ready to apply for a mortgage, you go to different lenders, you obtain a loan, and you bring your loan paperwork to the owner of the rent-to-own property. And you say, I'm now ready to purchase the property. You then examine together how much down payment do you actually need. So let's just say that your loan paperwork says that you need to have 5% down payment, okay? And let's just say that the house is $300,000 for an easier calculation. So 5% of $300,000 is $15,000. You examine your escrow account because when you were first signing in for a rent to own, you initially contributed, let's just say 2% of the purchase price as your deposit / option. So 2% of $300,000 is $6,000. So out of $15,000 that you need, you already have six. Now you need to find $9,000 plus closing costs. Don't forget the closing costs. And the closing costs will depend on your mortgage lender, but let's just say that your closing costs are another $5,000. So you need a total of $15,000 for the down payment and $5,000 for closing costs, out of which you already have six. So now the question is, how do you come up with the rest of the money? And this is where the rent to own part is important. Now you're continuing to rent while you're rapidly accumulating cash to make sure that on the day of closing, on the day when you're ready to transfer the ownership to your name, you have 15 plus 5. Some of it comes from you taking back the initial deposit and you bringing some money from your savings. Once you have both the paperwork from the lender saying that they're ready to issue you a loan and the money necessary to close on a loan or to complete the purchase, you basically call the landlord, say, we're scheduled to close on a house on such and such date with our lender. The landlord brings the paperwork, sign the paperwork, and the house transfers into your name. That's how it works. That is pretty much wraps up my series on rent to own in Dallas Fort Worth area of Texas. I have one more topic to discuss, and that is rent to own scams. So that will be the last topic in this series, and I'll see you guys at the next video.